I think from a very early age, I understood that anything that was worthwhile to me was only achieved after some time and after a great deal of effort. Just repeatedly experiencing that scenario where something that I did off the cuff either wasn't good or failed miserably. It just didn't feel like my best effort and wasn't something I could feel proud of, which brings me a great deal of anxiety, so I felt comfortable with what I've produced, so I put a lot of effort into thinking about it, sketching it, and determining what the outcome is that I'm shooting for. Am I going to die if the outcome is not that? No, because life happens and you're like, oh, that's really interesting, I'll incorporate that. But as opposed to just being a casual participant in your own life, I've got enough of that. This is something that I can determine what I want it to be, and I can actually make it be that with some effort, with a great deal of effort. Some people, in looking at the orange piece there, they thought it looked like exploding body parts or things that were toxic, and I think, well, that's certainly not what I put into it. I mean, what I put into it was, the efforts that go into a week and the melting that you feel at the end of the week and the things that you do to nourish the spirit and to keep yourself going. So for me, the legs there, they're milkweed pods that are opening. And if you see a milkweed pod when it first opens, there's the fibers and there's the little seeds. And the little seeds slowly drop down, and then the milkweed fibers with the seeds blow away. So here they are, still intact in the pod. So for me, that's a nourishing thing. It's something from nature that is natural, is organic, is good, and they were seeing something toxic. So what I put into it is very personal, and if someone has the same sort of connotations with nature that I have, they might get some of that out of it. I hope that they can connect with it enough that it makes them think of other things, perhaps from their own life. I hope that it's a point of departure for further conversation. If they have a totally different experience of it than I do, then I don't even have anything to talk about with them. So I hope it's a meeting place, either with similar experiences or, it's a conversation starter. Where does that go? Does it diverge, or does it come closer to a similar conversation? This skeleton behind me is in its very early stages. I work from drawings, and the drawing for it is behind on the screen there. So I work in my sketchbook a lot, and sometimes there's words, phrases, whole paragraphs, and then I'll respond to what I'm writing and drawing as well. And I'll do a lot of drawings, and maybe I'll write a few more words. Eventually, I do come up with a drawing that seems to fit what I'm feeling at that moment. And I work abstract pretty much, but it's all human referential for me. Even if it doesn't look like it, it is responding to people in my life, happenings in my life. So they are referential to the life I am living. It's hit or miss trying to. Sculpture is a little bit more difficult than painting or something like that, or drawing, where you can just pick up something small and have at it. You need more tools for sculpture, so getting back around to it took some time, but in the process, I became a certified welder. Just if you take enough classes and if you present your certification plate, suddenly you're a certified welder. Due diligence to your own life. If this isn't working, make it what you want it to be. So in that regard, I really do take responsibility and take control of that original vision I had. And if it's not meeting that, then I do get out the angle grinder, take the cutting wheel, whatever, and cut that piece off, remake it, or take something else from a different piece that worked better and make it do, what it was intended to do for this piece. So I'm not against recombining things, but I really am dedicated to that original vision I had. Again, something that I can control. There's so many other things in life that you just have to go with the flow, and this I feel is one of those instances where I don't have to. I don't have to go with the flow. I can really make it what I want it to be. I mean, in that regard, my art, am I making it for other people? No, I'm making it as a point to connect with other people. You can say it's an egotistical pursuit on some level to think that I can make this big piece and someone might want to buy it so I don't have to store it. So that's a superior folly to me to think that I can make something and it'll go away magically. But I've sold some work, so I'm grateful to those people. And I keep doing it because it gives me a reason to keep moving forward, to not stagnate and make memories, because I don't remember things. So if I make new things, I don't have to remember the old things. I don't have to remember the history. I can look forward and I can invent new things.